with everything that's happened, I think it's time this gets said. Seems like no one else is going to say it, so I guess I'll have to. Signs that a guy is an undercover player. Now, I've made a video like this before where I went through 4 types of players, in which the undercover player was one of them. And in that video, I say why the undercover player is the most dangerous one. And I think with everything that's kind of recently happened, we've kind of been shown why. So today, I'm going to take a deep dive and show you exactly what you should be looking for in case you are dealing with an undercover player. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. I do have to say that, it's in my contract. I don't have a contract, but still subscribe. So, damn. The first sign that a guy is an undercover player is that he is a yes man with you. A yes man with you, or a yes man with women in general. If you see him when he's around other people, maybe he doesn't know that you're kind of witnessing him in a different environment, and you see that, you know, he's having conversation, he has his own opinions, whatever, but then when he talks to you, it seems that he's a yes man with you. That is definitely a question on his integrity with how he interacts with you. Now, don't get me wrong, it's really great when we meet someone and they share a lot of the same opinions that we do. And of course, it's great if they share a lot of the same values that we do, which is why they have a very similar perspective to us. But how you can tell the difference between someone who's genuinely, sincerely agreeing with you, or whether someone is just a yes man with you, is if they elaborate. And what I mean by is this: it's one thing for a guy to say, oh yeah, I agree with you and I share the same perspective because of A, B, and C. That makes sense. He shared why he thinks the same way as you do. Some of them might be the same, some of them might be different. But if you're sharing your opinion, you're sharing your perspective on something, and every time you do, he's just like, yeah, definitely, yeah. He's just saying flat out yes without any reason why. This can be a sign that he's just being a yes man with you. And if he is just being a yes man with you, it means that it doesn't come from a place of sincerity. More often what this is, it's just him just trying to be in your good books. The second sign that a guy might be an undercover player, and this ties on to what we've just gone through, and our man Derrick Jaxn has clearly showcased this, is if a guy panders to you. You know, he just always says what he thinks you want to hear. Now, of course, when we're interested in someone, we want to make a good impression. You know, we want to be able to say the right thing so that they like us. That's normal. But pandering is a whole new level of catering everything you say to try and fit in with the other person's ideology, with how they see the world and how they feel the world should be. It's a constant feeding of them just saying what they think you want to hear, so it puts you in a good feel emotional position so that they can then take advantage of you. It's like, you know, when a girl is really upset and the guy is like consoling her and he's just pandering to her emotions so that he can actually have a chance to sleep with her. It's kind of like that. And the reason we have to be so mindful of when someone might be pandering to us is because it is a form of manipulation to entice the person using what you say to blindly guide them to doing what you want them to do. Imagine if you go into a casino, right, and the dealer says to you, hey, look, you're gonna get some really good cards in a minute. You should definitely bet all your chips on this next round. And what does that do? It makes you feel good. You go, oh yeah, that would be great. If I end up winning the pot, I'd win loads. So you bet all your chips, you don't get great cards, and then you lose everything that you have. He pandered to your emotions and your feelings of potentially wanting to win big, that he manipulated you into making a reckless decision that benefited him. Or in this case, benefits the house. So what's a really good way to shit test whether a guy is just pandering to you? Well, here is the simple, easiest way that you can immediately suss this out. A, you notice that he never disagrees with you. You could literally say, all white people are racist, all immigrants are bad, or all black people are lazy, and he wouldn't vocally oppose to you. He would just like laugh it off, or just try and brush it aside, sweep it under the rug, and try and move on as quickly as possible. When really, any decent human being would vocally oppose to any of those statements that they heard from someone that they might be interested in. And the second way you can figure out whether he's pandering or not is if he never offers an opinion on something that you guys haven't talked about. Or he never offers his opinion first. If something comes up in topic, he goes, so what do you think? Now, why would he do this? Because he doesn't want to offer an opinion on something if he doesn't know where you stand, in case what he says you disagree with. Remember, pandering is all about seeming like you guys are completely on the same wavelength and you think exactly the same. So if he offers something that you disagree with, that goes against his strategy of pandering to you. This next sign of him being an undercover player is that he constantly emphasizes how different he is to other men. Now, look, of course, everyone is different. Everybody is unique. Everyone brings a different thing, different flavor, different style to the table, right? We all have things that make us interesting and unique. And it's completely okay if someone goes, oh, I recognize this is something that everyone does. I just tend to do it this way. But if you find that he's constantly offering this statement of, yeah, I'm really not like other guys, or, oh, I'm very different to that kind of group, or anything like this, if he's constantly offering this statement, that is definitely a red flag. He may be an undercover player who's trying to play you. And look, don't get me wrong, it's completely okay when you're trying to stand out, especially in front of someone that you're interested in. You want to separate yourself from the competition. But a guy who constantly feels the need to say how different he is instead of just showing how different he is, that can prove to have an ulterior motive. It's almost like he's trying to get under your radar, because like when you meet someone new and you meet someone who you might be interested in and they're trying to be interested in you, you want to make a good impression on them and they want to make a good impression on you. But at the same time that you guys are starting to kind of get to know each other and chat, you are vetting them to see if this is the right kind of guy that I like, if he does have the same values that I do, if this is the kind of person that I see myself with. This is what we do in the early stages of getting to know someone. We are vetting them subconsciously or even maybe consciously. So him continuously trying to emphasize how different he is to all the other guys, it's almost like him trying to say, hey, you don't need to apply your filter with me. You can just trust that I make the cut. And ladies, you should never not be seeing whether a guy is right for you. You should always be aware of any red flags in the early stages. Vetting is an important part of finding the right person for you. It saves your time, it saves your energy, and it saves your affection. And the bottom line is, if he is the right kind of guy, then there won't be any red flags anyway. Whether a guy is different or not to the rest of them, that's for you to decide for yourself, not for him to tell you. This next sign that he may be an undercover player is that he is there to be your emotional rock and support right out the gate. As in, he's there for you emotionally in every single way from the moment he meets you. Now, of course, I understand that this can feel very nice when you meet someone and they're willing to automatically just give you so much of their emotional energy and support. It feels really nice. It's like, wow, that person's really generous. But the reality is, when it comes to emotional energy, that is something that all of us really only give to our close ones. We give that to our loved ones, our closest friends, our family, people we've already built a relationship with. You don't just give it all to someone that you just met. You give a little, they give a little, you start to build a foundation of a friendship or a relationship. But any guy who's like, yeah, I'm here for you whenever you want, and you don't really know him that well and he doesn't know you that well, you have to ask yourself, why is he willing to give so much so quickly? Especially when you don't know each other that well yet. Now, how does this benefit an undercover player by giving you all his emotional energy right out the gate? Well, the reason that he'd want to become your emotional rock, to be your first of emotional support, is because he wants you to be emotionally dependent on him. He wants you to feel that you emotionally need him. Why? Because that puts him in a position of power and influence over you. It puts the power dynamic way into his advantage. That's why an undercover player is so dangerous. Because a lot of the time they're emotionally intelligent, which means that they know how to trigger certain emotions in people. They know how to invoke certain feelings into a person. And two, and this is where it facilitates him being a player, if he does any wrong by you, you find it incredibly difficult to leave because you feel emotionally dependent on him. Where it gets to a point that he's like, well, I know that she's now emotionally dependent on me, so I can pretty much do what I want. Because his mentality is, yeah, this may hurt her and she may not like it, but I know that she needs me emotionally more than how much this will hurt her, so she won't leave me. And let's just be honest for a second, that's why there are girls who are with guys who cheat over and over and over again, but they never leave him. Why? because they feel emotionally dependent on him. So one thing I really want you to take away from this video, as well as the clear signs that we've just gone through, is that a man who is of value, a guy who is worth it, doesn't give his time and energy for free. Everything is an exchange. He gives you some, you give him some. You show him some love and affection, he reciprocates that. That's how you build relationships. That's how you build friendships. That's how you build something that lasts. If a guy is giving you all his emotional time and energy for free, it's usually because there's something in it for him. Be aware, ladies, you got this. If you're looking for a guy who sparks up your love life, make sure you subscribe to this wonderful tribe. And as always, keep it slick. Pow.